All right, Brodies. This video is week 1 of an introvert working in sales. And just a little bit of background before I get into my experience this past week. First job, working as to be more clear, sales recruiter. I'll tell you a bit about myself and my past. So when I say introvert, I mean someone who grew up with severe social anxiety, okay? In school, I really didn't have much friends. And talking like middle school, most of high school, most of middle school, where I had my group of friends that I could feel comfortable around with and be myself. But then if I wasn't in that same period as with them for lunch, I sat by myself. Sat by myself in 8th grade. I sat by myself every other day, 9th grade. All of 10th grade, I'd say 80% of it I sat by myself. And it wasn't until 11th grade, 12th grade where, by that point, it was weird. Like, I had a group of friends to sit with me at the library. Like, I would just sit at the library and play computer games or do my homework at the last minute there. And then I would have a group of other people, maybe other outcasts, or a lot of them even weren't outcasts. They were just people just preferred to be at the library for some reason. I don't know. I guess it became fashionable. And hey, I had a group to sit with. But anyways, though, this has been a problem most of my life. The social anxiety. Being an introvert, I love being an introvert. I love being inward reflecting. I love being by myself. Like, my ideal day is a great cup of warm, hot coffee or tea and a great book. And then get me a nice couch, a nice recliner chair. I'm sitting back reading. I don't need much else in life, okay? So, with sales, it was something I never wanted to do because it's draining. I have a social battery, okay? That's what it is. Like, at this point in life, after years of development, working on myself, the social muscle, it comes and goes. Sometimes I'll be like really quiet all the time. And then this past week, when you're forced into the environment, I feel like I've talked more this week than I have in like the past 6 months. Not counting phone calls with my besties, because then I'll yap for hours. So how's it been? Well, not that bad. I mean, it's mostly training so far, but having a script is nice. There is some kind of, the way it works is that I gotta recruit people. I'm not gonna say where I work, not releasing that information. But essentially, I'm a admissions counselor. I have to call people all day long, prospective people that might want to enroll into the university where I work. And my job is to sell them on enrolling. You see, so it's not just being a counselor, which would be fucking nice, just giving people advice, providing emotional support, being a shoulder to cry on. No, I have to sell them. Even if I don't think it's the right thing for them to do in their stage of life. One of the things I learned was, you can't project that onto them. That's part of the job. And you can't even match people's energy. You have to be a bit fake in a way where if people are on the phone bummed and stuff and really their life does suck ass, you can't reflect that. You still gotta be like, okay. But anyways, though, having a script and then being given the room to ad-lib, improvise, I think I've been giving good feedback about that, and that has given me some confidence. So that feels good, having people tell you that you got the gift of gab. It's a good feeling, right? But what's the downside? It's, first of all, let's focus on this introvert aspect. It is taxing. It's taxing in a different way that working a shitty fast food restaurant is, okay? Because I just worked at the grocery store this morning, pulled a, 'cause I'm still working there part-time, covering here and there. And I remembered why I left, and here I am, like, going on to greener pastures, right? But, so that's exhausting in its own way. But being this salesperson, being so animated all the time, even when I don't want to be, it's mentally taxing. I feel, I got a headache doing some like practicing role playing all day long. And yeah, now that day went to CVS, bought some Excedrin. Okay, I'm just gonna have that at my desk all the time. That's part of my reality. So that's not good. What else? Something that's, I was thinking of another video title this week. It was gonna be titled "Bitchin' and Moaning." Something about the art of complaining, just letting, even though it's wrong, like, we're not supposed to bitch, we're not supposed to moan, it's bad for all these reasons, it brings bad vibes. Sometimes you just gotta let it out. Who cares how I look? Who cares if I seem ungrateful? Who cares if I look like a bitch for bitching? Okay, I'm just being real here. So what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, micromanaging. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of red flags for the future. It's like, if there's little meetings for everything. Okay, if you're not meeting your metrics and it's out of your control, you're gonna get an email and it's gonna be some condescending shit like, "Oh, are you okay? You okay, Daniel? Do you need some extra support? This and that, blah blah blah." And then another red flag: turnover rate. The majority of my team, I would say about half, joined in October. It's November 20-something today. Think about that. One of our best people, she left yesterday. So today's Saturday. Not sure if I mentioned that. Might be repeating myself here, but I tried recording yesterday and it was just shit, honestly. So recording today, just got to relax and go to the sauna, have a cold plunge. Just felt nice. And speaking of that, okay, I'm going bad. But I think what I want to provide with this video is showing some introverts out there people who, they've been battling social anxiety and overcoming it, but still, like, they really wouldn't want to do something like this, like me. But sometimes it's the best option for you. Sometimes, you are rejecting way better pay, a short-term sacrifice, and in return, what are you doing? You're keeping yourself stuck. Because something that this job is providing me is a sense of momentum here. I've uploaded a video this week. I've been writing on Substack more than I have before. I'm feeling that extra creativity. My habits are better. I'm eating better. I'm eating cleaner. And yeah. The naysayer in my head, the naysayer is out there saying it's just the first week. Everybody's, trying to perform better on the first week. You're gonna fall back into being slack and all of that. But fuck you guys. Fuck that voice in my head. Because I know a lot of these good changes are things that I've been working on for a while. This isn't just like the good. What I'm talking about isn't me on the job. It is outside of that. Like, I got a gym membership a few weeks ago, and I'd only done a real workout once. Now, most of the time I just go to relax in the sauna, hot tub, cold plunge. More of a therapeutic kind of visit. But this week, it's like, time is a gift, but it's also sometimes can be a curse. And when you have less time in the day, which I don't have much time anymore, I'm spending 9 hours at the office, 2 hours in total commuting. It's 11 hours of the day, plus the time I'm getting ready and just decompressing when I come back home. So you know, when I'm thinking to myself at work, like, oh man, like I would really like a good workout right now, just to like get that stress, you know, out of the body, just feel like, whew, feel alive, feel okay. So I look forward to that after work. You know, it's interesting. Like, it's interesting how that happens there. What else has been positive here? My creativity's been up. Feeling more confident in some sense, and momentum. That's the word I want to focus on here. Thumbnail. It wasn't clickbait. So this week I asked out the office cutie. That girl that I mentioned, who was one of our best people, who decided to leave on Friday. You know, on Friday, from the first day, felt some kind of vibe there, right? And just a little background, interrupting the story. Pause. I don't really ask out girls much, and when I do, oh man, it takes a lot of building myself up for it, and it's the most terrifying experience. I have to go down and sit down and write it, but it's probably, even counting this one today, I could probably only count the amount of times total at 25 years old on two hands. And that's being generous. Like one hand at minimum, but two hands, probably not all the way. So, anyways, though, yeah, I felt some kind of vibe there. And then, obviously, there's lots of, you know, there's plenty of reasons why people don't say it. Like, people say you shouldn't ask out people you work with. But yet, it's a contrast because I read some bullshit, I don't know if it's true, about how like most people do meet their significant other at work. So you see how that clashes there. And then you have HR, that could be a problem if you do hit on or ask out a coworker and things go poorly. There's that aspect as well. And then there's also just gossip and like, I don't know, like that's part of the social anxiety, is like people, like what people will think of you, the self-consciousness. And that's something that's held me back so many times in the past of asking out girls. It was part of a friend group, and I felt like I would be doing something weird in the friend group. People would talk shit about me. And what it really is like shame how I've grown up. Like I feel, yeah, like shame expressing my sexuality around women. Just a product of growing up in post-2000 America. I was born in 2000. So 2000 above, you know, all of us growing up in this era, we're like, it was basically like fuck asking out men. And now we are where we are today, where most people are meeting on dating apps. That's at least in the US, you know, people aren't approaching each other anymore. You know, that shit. So something I've always been extremely self-conscious about. And it's also this feeling of humiliation. So, like not wanting to feel humiliated. So, anyways, I talked to one of my homies, and you know, I got myself to do it. Like I told myself, like once I learned she was leaving, there was no excuses. And I treated this shit like a hunt. Okay, like like the whole metaphor of like dating being like, you know, they say like, oh, there's many fish in the sea and all of this. I get it more and more and more. The symbolism, the meaning behind it, and how like true it is to our like primal core, you know, because truly to get, you know, beyond the dating world, if you're out there to win, you know, then you are hunting. You're literally like, as a guy, scouting around like, okay, who can I talk to, right? And then you got to go out and create an opportunity. It's not just going to come for you. And there's different methods, you know, so you could be more of a hunter type, more aggressive with it. But also, actually that was wrong. Hunters have to be very, very patient. You can't just like, the lion doesn't just like run after the gazelle. Dude, the gazelle's gonna lose the lion, okay? Instead, the lion's like, gotta wait. You're waiting in like and camouflage, and then boom, you pounce. Okay. And then as a fisherman, you know, it's more like you're kind of like peacocking out there. Peacocking, you got your little bait, boom. And then like when like the, you know, the girl comes, you're like trying to reel her in, right? So I was really trying not to make excuses. I would like, you know, try to like find her when she's by herself. I would and by Thursday, because Tuesday and Wednesday I was cultivating this energy. I was getting the momentum, like I'm telling you guys, getting the confidence. By Thursday, I was, you know, was able to like actually have a conversation with her. And you know, a lot of times, man, it's just how it is I don't know, going beyond the small talk, right? Like when someone passes you by, you like kind of know each other. Like you'd be like, hey, or you can start a conversation, essentially. So, and sometimes that can just be as simple as like, hey, like, how's it going? And then instead of giving an NPC answer like good, you can just say something like, just be honest, essentially. So I would say something like, oh man, like I feel like I'm going crazy at like a headless chicken, right? I don't know what to do. And then, you know, something gets going there, especially if the other person is engaged and they want to have a conversation as well. You know, a lot of times people do want to connect, and women are more receptive to that than one might think. Okay, I lost some of my gas there. Let's keep the energy going, okay? So, and then by Friday, man, this is how you know the social reflexes were, the social muscles were building. I talked to another girl from another department who let's just say she's a cute office Asian girl who was working in a different department. So when I would, you know, I saw her a few times, but like, it's hard because like, especially, like I just feel like I shouldn't just go up and be like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm the new guy. It's fucking weird, you know? So, but on Friday, I really showed up early because I knew this was my last day to ask out this, the original girl I'm talking about, the Latino. So the Latina's the one I asked out, guys. Just putting that spoiler there. So I showed up early just in case I might find her alone in the break room and just have that one-on-one time there. But instead, Asian girl there and I was just like, hey, like, oh, what department are you from? And then we actually just ended up talking for like 10 minutes and was like, whoa, that's cool. Because it's all, you know, things don't have to lead anywhere, you know. So what's nice, you know, man, extroverts have it good in this way. Is a refreshing feeling to just, you know, be walking by people, and instead of just like this tension, because like, yeah, you see each other every day, but you don't really know each other. You can be like, hey, what's up? Dab up, you know, or just like, if it's, yeah, that kind of energy, you know. So that's a good feeling there. But what I'm trying to say is that like, I was like building my momentum, building my confidence. And then, so then already talking to like that girl, you know, just being like, what I'm also proud of myself is that I wasn't one track minded. Guys, you should never be one track minded. Like, even I know that much, right? If you want to be a charismatic individual, you want to be abundance, you got to be, you know, gotta be ready, you know. You know, if the hunter is going out for a chicken, but he sees a pig instead, you got to be ready to shift gears. Okay, that's my metaphor for you right there. So, what happened later? What was really cool was, you know, she was at her desk chatting to someone else, and I came over to tell one of the other, because she had the other girl I was training with, and I told the training girl, okay, I had to put that light there. We need that light. Told the training girl like something that, you know, I figured out that she had to do. And this is gonna sound manipulative, but it really wasn't. Like, it wasn't my intention. So she ends up leaving, and then I just started talking to the Latina girl that I want to ask out, and then we have finally like I'm more comfortable, I'm less tense. You know, she's less tense because she's known me for a few days now, and then we just like talk and talk and talk. And I don't know, it was going on for a while, and then dude, I gotta lie, I can't lie. Those last few minutes, I'm thinking like, man, like I gotta like ask her out, like this is the time, like, the rapport is there, we're loose, okay, let's do it. But then a manager comes over and is like, Daniel, go do this, da da da. Like, okay, bye, Latina. And then it happens, guys. At break time, no, during my lunch, she comes, I'm eating in the break room. And then she comes in, and it's just me and her. I'm talking to her, da da da. And this is what I like to think of as God's layup. Right here. Everything I was waiting for, okay? No cowardice, no excuses. I'm fucking scared. It even gets to the point where, like, so I get up, and she's at the vending machine, blah, 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 we're talking, and then she even, like, turns, and then I'm like, hey, da-da-da, and then I tell her, I just say, like, hey, do you wanna go out for lunch sometime? Keep it casual, keep it cool, and it went well. She said no, okay? She said, I'm flattered, but I have a boyfriend, and it was what it was. We kept on talking, though. She didn't just, like, run away or call me a fucking loser or any of this fears, right? She was nice. She was respectful, Girls get asked out, pretty girls especially, all the time, So I really respect and admire when they can be gracious, because it's not easy. It's not easy for us. Okay? And, something I want to shift into here is reflecting on this experience, because now, one day later, I feel like confident about it, like just happy that I did it. Like, I got it off my chest. I don't have to worry what if. I feel at peace, But directly after, I felt, man, like it was cool and everything, but then I was feeling like all of this doubt. Like, I felt like cringe about, like, I don't know what I said after she rejected, like, because that's just like, I don't know, you kind of black out and you're just like, yo, let's play it fucking cool, right? And then all these other things, and then I'm just like battling with these invasive thoughts, guys. Invasive. I'm feeling so like cringe and like ashamed and like humiliation. That is a divine word right there. Humiliated. And I had all of that. All I wanted to do was just bury myself in a hole and just hide. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. And of course I didn't want to face her, right? She's still there for another 5 hours of the day. But I didn't give in. I didn't give in to the invasive thoughts. And even later on in the day, she, one of the managers, because like I mentioned way early in the video, she is that girl who's like a senior, like, and senior in this world was like here for like half a year. But anyway, she's also really fucking good. One of the best performers. So she was helping me with some, like, this was like setting stuff up on the computer, lots of setting up email signatures and this and that, and lots of stuff just to make the job more proficient. So, I feel like for most people, like, they're reflective, they mirror each other. So if I was going to be weird and awkward about it, she'd be weird and awkward about it. But I wasn't. I kept it cool. So then she was cool, and if anything, I feel like I just had more respect from her. From at least having the balls to do it, right? And probably she was flattered. Let's be honest, okay? What was I gonna say there? So yeah, I was feeling the cringe and this and that. But something I noticed was, like, I felt this especially powerfully when I was watching a training video at my desk, because, like, the video's just going on and on. I'm not okay. Phone cut out. I ran out of storage. I had to delete some stuff. I'm gonna have to start recording on my computer. I don't think I can do this phone car intimacy anymore. It was good while it lasted, but Anyways, though, yeah, on the computer, video, thoughts going crazy, negativity. Just felt like punching myself, hurting myself, hiding away. But then once I actually stopped with the computer stuff and like the video and actually started doing tasks like I need to do, I felt the healing through movement, healing through action. Like as I was doing that and getting engaged in that, the invasive thoughts subsided and I felt calm. And then by the night, it was interesting. I told my friend about it, and then we were just playing video games, playing some Arc Raiders. And every once in a while, I would remember, like, oh, shit. I did that. You did that, Daniel. Me? What? And, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how... This is why I always say, when everybody I've told so far. So, YouTube, I'm telling the third time, I say it went well. Because I just feel good about it. Like, I feel great about this rejection. Feel great for honoring my heart, my intuition, that feeling I had, and just doing it again and again. Because that honoring that is the same thing of what I got to do here in this channel and all of my pursuits of art is just honoring the feeling to create despite all the doubts, despite the fear. Like, live with that fear, you know, like build a relationship to the fear is what needs to be done. So yeah, that's all. Those are the week 1 adventures. I probably could have gotten a lot more into detail about the day-to-day, but this is just more reflections. I got another week 2 is going to be more training, so I don't really think there's going to be much different. But if there is something that I feel like is character building on my journey, then I'll share. But I think following this video, I want to upload more of actually what I want to talk about, like literature, art, spirituality, video essays. You know, like I'm feeling momentum. Now's the time. And yeah, it's time to like really get this channel going again. This video you're gonna see is gonna have, I'm actually gonna put effort, make a thumbnail. Every time I come back to YouTube, it's always on an impulse. Sit down, record, boom, upload. Don't overthink it. So anyways, to those of you who listened, I love you as always. It really shows that, I don't know, it makes me feel some type of way, because I think that people actually care of what I have to say. That's unbelievable, you know? So, take care, y'all.